Okay, all right. For the recording, good morning, good evening, team. This is session 8. So we are almost halfway through. We are halfway through our training program. I think we made considerable progress in our learning process. So basically, we are almost, onto the agents. We have done a lot of hands-on as well with RAG architecture, building projects, building demos with RAG. Now we are doing with agents. So yesterday we looked at what an agent is. We'll just do a little bit of recap, and then we will create some agents and look at how the agent splits the tasks. Very simple, not very heavy framework, simple framework with Agno, a framework called Agno. So we'll use Agno framework and just create some simple agents today. After that, next week, we will get into more frameworks. One is we'll get into the Crew AI is one popular framework that we'll use to create multi-agent use case application. And then we'll get back to one of the clouds, basically either Bedrock or Google Cloud, to build the same agents and Langflow, how we use same agents in any of these no-code platforms. And then we'll do our own, same thing, the deployment, and how do we package the project, how do we deploy. We'll get into that, and observability and MCP. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that in the second half we are going to cover a little bit more advanced topics as well. So everybody, I recommend, please get started on understanding the concepts, doing hands-on. I'm happy that somebody is at least trying to do some hands-on, that you're finding some issues. So try to use different LLM models, not just the same one what I have used, and try experiment with different models, different vector databases, or different embedding models for building the RAG, different use cases, new use cases, different source files, and all of that. Okay. So with that, we'll get into the topic. I have the recording yesterday. Had some technical issues, didn't go through the upload. Today I will do both the recordings, yesterday's and today's, and the notebooks as well. Okay. Now let's get started. We talked about what is an agent. Anybody want to just give a quick summary of what an agent is? What three main components of agent is?
So agent will have tools, LLM models,
Mhm.
and there's a third one that
Memory.
memory.
Yeah, a model, memory, tools, and of course it has a role and goal, and then it will do the planning and reflection using the model. So all of this packaged together will simply make an agent. So if you see here, a simple architecture of an agent. So the brain you see here is the LLM model. Okay. And then it has tools, it has memory, and can do planning based on the LLM model that you use, does the planning, and the agent will orchestrate all of this. That's very simple architecture that we talked about, right? So there's the components that you build the agent. And then we looked at same thing, what the examples of the tools are. Yesterday we created a couple of tools using Python functions, multiply, add, and gave the tags. And we looked at how a model recommends which tool to use based on its intelligence, and then splits the questions that we have then into simple tasks, and then we recommend which tool to use for that particular task, right? So that's what we have looked at for now. Yeah, we are using the default inbuilt memory, a model that we have seen, different tools, and then how it does the planning, reflection, and critiques, and all of that. Okay, so we'll get into the crew AI later, but today as I said, we'll get something called the Agno framework. Okay. So initially it was called PhiData. Now it is renamed to Agno framework. It's a high performance open source Python framework for building, running, and managing complex multi-model AI agents. Okay, emphasizing speed, simplicity, using pure Python. Okay, and model agnostic, working with any LLM provider. So it is purely based on Python. No graph or nothing complex, very simple. And it creates just like framework to create agent or multi-model agentic framework. Okay. So what does it look like? So if we go here, it has a GitHub library for Agno framework. Of course, it has um, its own repository and the UI and all of that to manage and build. But if you go to the agents here, or you have Agno, you can go to documentation. Okay, so this is the Agno. So if you go here, it will just show you directly all that you need. Just simply import agent. So everything is built in for you, and then you just create an agent. And we know when you create an agent, what do we need to have? We need to send past those three parameters or components. What is the LLM model you want to use? What are the tools that you want to provide? And of course, memory is default. If we don't give any, we're not using any of the external memory. So model and tools you get, and you create an agent, and then you give it a task here, report. So the role and goal are optional. You can create and give whatever is the context of the role to it, and then you get that. So a simple is what it is to create an agent, very simple one. You just import the Agno agent, and then you go ahead and create an agent from the library and provide this. Multi-agents is like, as I talked about, orchestration that it will happen. You have so many agents working together. There will be one supervisor agent, one master agent, whatever it is, then orchestrating the sub agents and delegating the task to those agents, right? So that is treated differently or implemented differently in different frameworks. So in Agno, it is a team. So you create a team, okay? And in the team, you have members like this, the 1, 2. So what are these two members? These are actual agents. What these agents? HN researcher is an agent in itself. Article reader is an agent in itself. So both the agents you create as members of the team, and you have a team leader or project team manager, whatever you call it, who leads that team, and then you send it to the team, the head, the task. It's like project manager, you give the project to him. He will split the project into smaller modules and see who's capable of within that, the members, who's capable of taking what, and then delegate that task, collect that subtasks, and then create one to do. Each agent can have its own tools. It can be different tools, same tools. They can share the tools. But once you have assigned a tool to an agent, it can only use that tool. Say, for example, here there is a hacker news tool, and here there's newspaper 4K tools. So this agent cannot use this tool. The researcher agent cannot use the newspaper 4K tool. Similarly, article reader cannot use the hacker news tool. So the scope of the tools is limited when what you create the agent. So when you create an agent, you give it the set of tools at its disposal, what it can use. However, you can choose to give the same tool to both the agents, then they can use. Okay. There is no limitation that one tool can be only given to one agent or something like that. Once you have a tool, it can be given to all the agents, any of the agent that you give. Okay. It can be shared, so they can have multiple tools. So both the tools you can give to both the agents. So that's how the team works. So there are also kind of workflow. We don't touch this right now, later. So it's basically like your automation rule-based workflows, how do you create with agent in that. Similar as a team, but little different in terms of how it is implemented using the rule-based. So at the very lowest, at very simple, this is how you create an agentic application just with Agno framework workflow. And then there is something called Pydantic. Okay. Since I'm touching upon this is some topic that I would like you to explore. Pydantic is again Python library, basically, to give a structure to the models. Basically, structure is input and output. So right now we are giving some questions. Questions we are sending in as text, and output also we are getting a huge text, right? It is okay if you are using it personally. Personally, in the sense, in the lot of use cases where for document non-structured data, basically you have documents, you're asking questions, you're summarizing a document or anything like that, it is okay to have all of that. But when you're doing say in the industry workflows automation, and then you want to use it, it needs a structured data, because otherwise the downstream or the other agents may not be able to understand or decipher what the output coming from one agent and how they will share that data structure in the memory. Say, for example, I'm trying to get all information related to a customer, but it will have a structure, right? Name, first name, last name, phone, email, his orders, his tickets, all of that. So they all have a structure. If you just get free flowing, you will not be able to, the agents will not be able to share information properly and see what is available, what is not available. And also when you go and query databases, not necessarily vector database, even if you query a standard RDBMS database, say for all his products that he owns or all his orders that he has placed, that is a structured data. So at some point, obviously, when you want to get into the industry use cases you want to solve, that's the end goal. Where we want to get into. If you want to solve the business use cases, it would need a structured input and output. So that's where Pydantic is very popular, which has a base model kind of a thing. It's just you can talk about structures, right? A collection. Basically, it's like a class. It has some data types. It's like base model has timestamp, string, integer, whatever you can. You just want to create one structure and then use that in communication with the agents. You can enforce that structure for the agents to provide the output in that structure, so that the other agents will also expect and use the same input when they are using the in the multimodal application. Okay, so go through this Pydantic framework. Basically, it's a library. It just tells you the schema, how you can have a schema for any of the input and output for the agents. So you have a base model. You can extend the base model and create your own class with whatever structure you need, like this. And then you can use this user uh, as an input and output for the agents models. So I'm expecting the data in this model or in this structure. You can enforce that. Okay, so this is pretty popular in the world of agentic AI, to enforce some structure to all of this. So go through this, why we want to use, how we want to use. Just go through this, and then we will see how it is when we come to some real life examples. We'll see how it is clear how it's going to be used. There is some example. We will come to this, not right now. When we talk about deployments and all of that, will come here. But if you go, see here, Pydantic settings from base settings. So this is to just give you a structure of all the configuration that you can write. Schemas, if you see, this is also using Pydantic base model. So query request will be in this format. There will be a query in string and then optional top parameters. Document upload will have one structure, and drag response. So whatever the response we are giving, it will have this structure. It will have this answer in a string. Then it will have sources where you're getting this answer as a list of dictionary. And it will also have a query, what we have sent as a string. So this kind of, the structure is enforced using the Pydantic. So I'm just touching upon few things that important when you are building these applications, but you can go through, read upon a few things. Don't have to go very deep, just understand the concept. What is this and how we are using. We don't use very complicated stuff here either. Very basic structure. You just create a class and then variables, and then just use that as input and output for the agents. Okay. Yeah, coming back to the Agno library I talked about. So these are some basic things, examples. If you go here in the library, you look at, agents, workflows, teams, whatever we have looked at. So you have models, if you see here. These are, what LLM models you can use. The tools, basically, we talked about model, we talked about tools here. You can see how you can create tools and use in this. Okay, so we talked about get weather. It's just a Python function. We can create, we looked at it already, right? So how it will be converted into the tool definition automatically. You don't have to do any of this. So it also uses the Pydantic base model. Get weather request, pass the base model, and how we use these tools, all of this. With agents, we already did this, right? So you pass tools as a list, create individual tools and pass it as a list. And then already off the shelf, there are a lot of tools. that you can use. Yesterday we looked at DuckDuckGo. We'll also do today DuckDuckGo tools and Yahoo Finance and other tools. There are a lot of tools that are available, DDGS, web search. So we can write our own tools that we looked at yesterday. What are the available toolkits? So we talked about Arxiv, right, yesterday. This is the tool to read Arxiv papers. There is a Baidu search, DuckDuckGo search, Hacker News, EXA, PubMed, SERP API from Google. These are both are from Google, SERP API and SERP API. CRXNG, Tavili search. So Tavili is again pretty popular. Tavili search. It implements the Pydantic already. So it is native, very flexible, but very powerful. Tavili search. Same as Google SERP API. There is something that's we already have. Wikipedia is there. Something called parallel, web systems by the Parag Agarwal. He's building some tools for agents. So that also is there as tools that we can use. Social, all of these you can use as tools. You can create or add as tools to integrate with all of this. Web scraping, you have some tools that you can use. So it's basically the toolkits, right? A lot of toolkits that you want to work with any of these databases, right? If you want to use tools to run SQL query, Postgres, Redshift for everything, just like connectors, right? And MCP is also there. Calculator, talked about Docker, Shell, Python to execute commands, local file system, sleep, file. So all of this. Many number of tools are available. SQL toolkit, SQL alchemy. So you can use this just like in Python. Use that tool, SQL tools URL, and use it as a tool for agent. It can go and query the database for any information that you need. Okay. So this is how Agno implements the tool. So for any framework, they have facility to build this. Otherwise, also you can just get third-party directly tools and use it as a tool in this. You don't have to take it from this library itself, but most of them are already available here. All right. So that is what is about the Agno library, right? Any questions regarding this library? Or in general, just not library, sorry, about the agents that we are trying to build and the frameworks. No? Okay. So let's get started with this simple demo. Here I'm importing Agno, of course, OpenAI, DDGS, as we said, DuckDuckGo search, and Yahoo Finance tools, Yahoo Finance to do some finance related research or analysis that we want to get. So we are using these two tools here. Let me install this. So as we see here, same agno.agent, just import the agent from using the Agno models, use OpenAI chart. We go DuckDuckGo tools, okay, and OpenAI key, create a DuckDuck tool from this. And then we just say agent, create an agent. Our model is GPT-4o, OpenAI, and tools I'm giving DuckDuck tool to go and do the search, markdown to get the output in the markdown format. That's it. Very simple agent with model and tools. Rest all is default. Yeah, so now the agent is built. Now, how do I use the agent? What are the capabilities that I want to see? Now I want the agent dot print response. This is the task that I am giving. So you go look at the image at this URL. Okay. And then this is the Wikipedia. In the Wikipedia, there is this picture, image. Okay. I want the agent to go look at this image, understand what this image is, right? And then give me the latest news about it. Okay. There are two tasks built into this. One is identifying and giving us the information about this image. And the second, get me the latest news information about this, whatever it is, this is there in this picture. So using that, I will ask it the agent, and then it runs. See, it says thinking about this is the query. So if you see here, yesterday we looked at tool calls, right? So what are the tool calls the model recommends to the agent? So it's giving two tools. So though it is DuckDuckGo it's more like a connector, you can see, okay? A tool, DuckDuckGo is a tool, but inside that you have, so let's say several functions. Like yesterday we wrote multiply and add, two different tools. Same thing, but once in the connector, you will have implementation of multiple tools inside that. So once you give DuckDuckGo tool inside that, it's like a class and different versions or different functions it can use within that tool. So DuckDuckGo search, first it is saying use this DuckDuckGo search tool, and in the query, you give this Louvre Museum, max results is 5. So it is able to understand, hey, this is something about Louvre Museum. You go and search about this. DuckDuckGo news, then the second part, it said latest news. So it's asking to go and get the latest news from, using this tool. Again, the query is about Louvre Museum, maximum results 5. So the first response is the image context. The image at URL you provided appears to be from this Wikipedia page. It is there here, whatever it is about the image, the museum is located where now. Oh, this is the first part of the question that you have asked. Now the second part is talking about latest news in the museum. Louvre tightens security after jewel heist, December 23. Its security following a jewel heist by installing metal bars on an infamous second floor window. So there was some heist attempt or done, I don't know. But they're tightening security after that. Metal security bars, creation of a new Mona Lisa gallery, strikes and heist crisis, Louvre worker strikes been happening for a long time. So all of this news it was able to get. So within the question, it was able to break it down into smaller tasks and then recommend what tools to use for each of the tasks. The orchestration is done. First, you get this image context, and then you get the news about this and all of that. So this is how the workflow orchestration happens within the agent. Using the tools and all of that. So it's very simple. All we have done is just, 1-2 lines of code. One line to create the tool and one line to create the agent. That's it. So these libraries are becoming more and more powerful, these frameworks. Okay, of course, this is a simple just one question, but then you have a multi-agent. You have to design each agent for a specific role and goal that we will see when we get into much complex use cases that we will talk about. Okay. Any questions? People are still joining in. Justin.
So, in that list of Agno tools, uh, is it a vast list, or how do we know a particular website or any particular application is ready to use or connect as a tool?
I didn't get you. Sorry. In this tools,
Yeah.
this.
So you imported DuckDuckGo tools from Agno tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Above
Mm-hmm.
import statements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we know a particular website or application is good to use as a tool under this?
No, the website is not as a tool. It's just to say, look at web search tools. It's just a common tool. Instead of DuckDuckGo, you can also use Google SERP API tool. Okay. If you go here in the tools, if you go to search, right? Okay. So these are, most of them are generic, except for say where it says ArcSiv, right? ArcSiv is only specific provided by ArcSiv that they give for research papers. If you want to use ArcSiv, you can also use ArcSiv, or you can also use generic. Just say Google search. So Google search, you have XR, you have SERP API. You can use those tools as well and say, hey, go and search ArcSiv. It will also search ArcSiv website as well. But if you use this tool, they have some wrappers built in to properly get connection, or properly, instead of web scraping, they have more features, capabilities to give you the exact what you need just for the papers, only for papers thing. But if you want to use generic, so DuckDuckGo is a generic thing, right? It can search any website, just like web scraping, just like Google search.
Connected.
The
Okay.
same thing, see, parallel, this is what I was talking about. Parallel is from that ex-CEO of Twitter, right? Parag Agarwal. He built this parallel web systems. This is the library. Now, these are specific tools which can search the net specifically for agents, how agents want to interact with the website. So it converts all those HTML into a proper format for the agents to do a search in a better way, right? So that's what it does. So parallel tools is also used same as search. Parallel tools enable search, enable extract, and all of that. Again, it is also doing the same search on AI agents autonomous system and summarize the key findings. It's just generic search. You can use DuckDuckGo search here also, or you can use parallel tools also.
Okay.
All you can use SERP API, or you can use Tabili.
Okay.
Anything is same. So, but if you say specifically, hey, I want to search only Wikipedia, then you can use Wikipedia too. They are giving one tool they have built for specifically for their website. It's like generic versus specific. Same Wikipedia, you can use Wikipedia tool to search, or you can use Google search, Tavili search, SERP API search also to search for the Wikipedia. Same thing. If you see here Tavili API, to use that, again, they have some key that you can take to enable to use that Tavili tool. It's same thing. Again, in the tools, you just give us Tavili tool and then search. Same thing. Search Tavili for language models, whatever.
Arun, Deepak here.
Yeah.
What if the tool that I want is not listed here?
Oh, from Agno? In the
Yeah.
Agno, it's not supported by Agno. You
Yes,
can,
correct.
yeah, it's just a Python library, right? Instead of importing it from Agno, you can import from any third party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it will support. These are like something
Standard out of the
hosted,
shelf.
yeah, out of the box, which are hosted or used in this Agno library. So here, instead of using import agno.tools, you can import directly wherever that tool is available as a third party. You can go and use that.
Companies can also use their or build their own tools, right? And maybe we can import.
Yes, you can use that, of course.
Thank you.
So yeah, the only thing is when you build a tool, it has to be used by an agent because, as I said, right, it expects a certain structure like import and like the request and response. See, end of the day, what these tools do is they call an API, and then that API will expect some request parameters, and the response will come, and then they pass. All of that goes on behind the scenes, right? So whatever tool you use, it has to be compatible or be able to be used by the agents. Most of them are. So automatically that you can use. Yes, if it is in Agno, you can use Agno. If it is not, you can also use just the things. So you have another platform called Crew AI, right? So in the Crew AI also, this we will um, another platform that we will do next week. So if you say in the C Crew AI, so in that also you have tools. There's a Crew AI toolkit, or you can use LangChain tools. So from they are all like interconnected, right? So if you import the Crew AI tools library, in that you get all of these tools again: directory read tool, file read tool, serper dev tool, website search tool, right? So you can use this, or you can use the direct libraries to get whatever if it is not available here. As I said, right, so if you're writing your own Python function also, it can be used as a tool. So within the Python function, you can implement any of the logic that you want. We have done when we wrote the Crew AI we used, but for the connecting to the Snowflake database, we have written our own using the connector. We have written our own Python function using the connector to connect to the Snowflake database and expose the entire Python function as the tool to the Crew AI. So you can use that. There's no limitation that you have to use only that is available in this framework. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I think we are good. So let's get into the second example we want to do here. So we have, there was only one tool we used, DuckDuckGo. So now we are using another tool called Yahoo Finance. Okay. So here, I created again the same DuckDuckGo tool. Now we have two agents. See, initially, we talked about it should have we said we have a task and role, task or goal, right? Goal and role. The agent will have. That's what we are providing here. So when you have a multi-agent, so it has a name web agent, it has a role. Okay, the role of this agent is to search the web for information. Okay, so this agent only does searching the internet web for the information. Again, it's not a hard and fast tool. It's a role play. It makes agent focus on the tasks that it needs to work on, and the supervisor agent knows based on this role which agent it wants to use. Okay, if you look at this one, it says the finance agent. The role of this is to get the financial data. Now when you are giving a task, right, the agent or the application or the supervisor agent, the team agent, it breaks down the task using the model, and then based on the task, is this task to search for the web or is this task to search for the financial data? Now what agents do I have who can do this job, and then assign that task to that agent? So that's what that role is very important here. Okay, so you have to, otherwise it will arbitrarily choose anything. And then you can give within the agent what model you want to use. Again, each agent can use a different model. There is no restriction or limitation that everything should use the same model. You can use GPT-4 here, you can use GPT-4o mini here, or you can actually use Anthropic Claude model, Sonnet model, anything you want here, as long as you have multiple models available. Why you're doing this? Yeah, sometimes you might want to use a bigger model. Sometimes if there is a summary agent, you go search, analyze, get information. At the end, you want to summarize. Summary can be done by a smaller model. You don't need a bigger model, kind of a thing. So you can pick and choose which models you want to have for each agent at the agent level. Tools, as I said, again, yeah, you can use whichever tool you want to use for that agent. You can give the same set of tools for all the agents, or you can have different tools. It doesn't matter. But this web agent can only use DuckDuck tool. This web agent cannot use the finance tool. Same thing, vice versa. Finance agent cannot use the DuckDuck tool. Okay, so these are the two agents that. So how do you know which agent I have to create? How many agents I have to create? So this is where the design happens. You have to design. There is no there's no simple solution available to automatically know which agents. You have to design your system based. You have to split it down how many agents you want. What is the role and goal of each agent you want? You have to structure or design all of that yourself. That's where you have to do that. Make sure each agent, just like a function, each function does only one task. Same thing, you have to focus and say each agent will do only a task, one task, specific task. You can have as many agents as you want. Or if you think there are too many agents, you can compress and have minimal agents. So the best example we talk about is when you say you are doing a travel planner. Travel planner can be your team manager or supervisor agent. Now within that, you can break it down. You say, hey, I want to book hotels. There is one hotel booking agent. You want to book flights, flight booking agent. You want to have a car rental agent. You want to have a site visit planner. You want to have attractions visiting planner. Then after all of this, you want to have a weather reporting agent. Then you can, so these kind of high level, what are all the tasks that are involved in a travel planner. Then if you go deeper into the one agent, let's say you want to book flights. So sorry, and there is one can be in a hotel or Airbnb agent also can be there. Now, if you want to look at, say, I have a hotel or Airbnb, which one I want to choose. So each agent has their own task. They can get priorities, and based on my budget, my limitations, my preferences, right? So the agent can take inputs from both these sub-agents. What are the options available for Airbnb? What are the options available for hotels? And then choose the best option. Then it has to align with the travel dates, so that it can come back to planner. So all of this orchestration, the supervisor has to manage, but these individual agents will do their own task. Now, if you go to, say, Airbnb, for example, agent, so what tools does it need? Since it is just the Airbnb agent, it does not need to do the web search of all the hotels and everything. It only needs to focus on Airbnb. So you can choose some Airbnb tools that you have. Within that, there is one search, there is one availability, facilities, and all of that. So you can create all of those tools and give it to the Airbnb. Now, these tools, again, you will not give to the flight search agent because it's irrelevant. It doesn't need these tools. So that's how you need to plan your application. This is where, though you have all agents and AI to do the job, the designing is your part. How best you can design your application. You can just create one agent and say, hey, do all of this planning. Yes, it will do. But that's not what it's supposed to be. Okay. So that's where your experience and expertise comes in. How you want to design this agents, multi-model agents, break it down into finer tasks and give specific agents, specific tasks. And then the whole orchestration, of course, dynamically it will take care of. Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. So let's see here. So the first agent I have is web agent. This is to search for the web information. I'm using this model for the DuckDuck tool, include the sources, and markdown is true. Again, finance agent, get financial data, model, use this tool, use tables to display data. I'm giving some instructions to each of the agent to get that information. And then I'm creating a team. So remember, we had a team that is also an agent. You can also create as team, or this is one way of doing it. The team agent will take the sub agents as tools. Okay, so this for the individual agent, the tool is the actual tool that it can use to get information or do some task. For the team agent, the tools are these agents itself. Okay, just the hierarchy. That's how it represents. This is one way of doing it. Of course, there is another way. This has come in new using the teams in this framework. If you go. Okay. So this is another way of doing it. Team with members as individual agents. So this is also one way of doing it. But earlier we used to implement it as the tools within the team. Both will work. You can try the other approach, or we will explore it later. But it does the same thing. It's just different way of there are n number of ways of coding or implementing the same thing, but however, it does the same thing. Now, agent team, we have this markdown. Stream is true. Stream in the sense, get the response as and when it is generating. Don't wait for everything to complete. And then telemetry is true. Telemetry is basically you want to see the trace, whatever it is generating, the trace of what is happening within the agent and all of that. So this telemetry is the basis of all your observability tools. How you track, how you monitor, how you log all of your calls, how you measure the time, performance, and all of that is based on this telemetry. Sometimes it's called open telemetry. There is some standard that each model should keep logging or sending this information based on these standards. So that is used for all dashboards or observability products, right? So we say telemetry is true. Now I'm invoking the agent team, not the agent, and I'm giving this question: summarize analyst recommendations and share the latest news for NVIDIA. Stream true. So again, as I said, there is one analyst recommendation and then there is one latest news. So for the latest news, I expect it to use the web agent to search the web for information. And for analyst recommendation analysis, I expect that to use the finance agent here using the finance tool. So let's execute this. Okay, so analyst recommendations. These are all the NVIDIA Corporation. This is the recommendation with many suggesting a buy. So how many of the analysts are suggesting strong buy? How many are suggesting buy? How many are hold, underperform, sell? Right? So this is how it's doing. And see, we have asked it for the finance agent to use tables to display data. So it's doing in a tabular format here, response. So what are the key points from this analysis? It is, summarizing it. Now, the second part, as we expected, the latest news it gets from NVIDIA. Earnings performance, AI initiatives, product announcements, all of this are the latest news, from the sources that it brings in from the NVIDIA, for the NVIDIA from the web. Questions?
Hey, I have a question. So if we start with this Agno framework, like can we also mix match like tools from other frameworks, or everything has to be within the Agno ecosystem?
You don't recommend tools from other framework, but you can use individual tools without from the other framework. See, basically you can get from LangChain itself. See, LangChain also has tools you can use. There is nothing like,
Yeah, that is my question. So if we
yeah,
have,
you
if
can
we have
use from
LangChain tool,
LangChain. Yes, yeah,
okay.
you can use.
So then,
Here you have Bing search, Brave search, DuckDuckGo search. This is free. You can use DuckDuckGo search from LangChain, or you can use DuckDuckGo search from Agno. It's just posting XR search. There's again Google search here, Serper here, Gina, parallel search is also here, SERP API is here, Search API and SERP API, right? So they have, you can see 100 free searches on sign up, 250 searches per month is free for SERP API, Tavili 1,000 free searches per month. But these were free. You can use free. Bing is paid. So wherever there is paid, it will expect some keys for you to pass to use that search tools.
Yeah,
But
looks
yeah,
like we can wrap it under a Python function and then use it as a tool. But inside the function, the tool can come from other frameworks.
yeah, you don't have to wrap it in anything. You just import this langchain.duckduckgo search library and then create the tool, use it as a tool. That's it.
Okay.
See, the whole thing is only basically how you create this part. Okay. Once you create this, you can use it. It's not dependent on how you created this tool. As long as this tool has capability, this can come from Agno tools, or this can come from LangChain tools. It doesn't matter. End of the day, it'll be still the DuckDuckGo search that is underlying, that code factor.
Okay.
So everybody will just take that same open source or available tool and host it on their platform. That's it. Yeah. No, I think it's the same thing. So we have run this. Yeah, questions?
And if you want to use multiple models, then you get into the world of MCP.
No, MCP is not for models. MCP is for tools, of course. The same thing as the tools. So here you are directly importing these tools. I was talking about, right? So Yahoo Finance, it has a tool that you can use. But at the same time, Yahoo Finance can also implement a MCP server. Okay, let's say Yahoo Finance MCP. We can use the same tools, right? So same MCP tools that we are directly using, get Yahoo Finance News and all of this as an MCP. So instead of directly creating a tool, now what we'll do is we'll go through MCP. Now MCP will expose all the tools from Yahoo Finance. It's two different ways of using the tools. So here we are using tool that is very generic. But when you get to MCP, it is standardized. So
Is
you
it
can
just tools? Is it just tools or also models, Arun? Meaning,
no,
like
no,
I
no
can go with
models.
that.
MCP does not have models. MCP is
No,
only
you become model agnostic, right? Meaning you can choose any model, any tool.
that is always here. See, these two are two different things. Everything is model agnostic. Model has nothing to do with any tool or any platform or any MCP or anything. Models are always agnostic. You can use it on any platform. You can use it from any platform. The model still will remain the same model. It doesn't
And I
change
can
on
and
how
I
you are
can
using it.
navigate between. I can navigate between tools, models,
Yes,
within the same
yes,
infrastructure
yes,
without MCP.
yes.
Okay.
See, MCP is just a standard way of interacting with the tools. It just changes, it just standardizes how you communicate. Just like you are using HTTP for calling any API, you will use MCP for calling any of the tools. Okay. Now, each provider like Airbnb or let's say a United Airlines. United Airlines, if you go back, so I'm sorry, I'm getting into MCP too early now, but just to give you a high level. United Airlines earlier, let's say when we started, there is nothing. They just have website, you go there and search. Now, when the travel agencies, what they did, they want to show everything on their site. What they did, they use web scraping tools. Like you go to their website and simulate the search, read the web page, extract the information from that HTML tags, make it tabular format, and display results on the page. Now, later, what happened? They said, hey, you don't want to go through all of this shit. You just come to us. We are exposing our information as APIs. So they give get flights as one API, and it expects, say, from what is the source and what is the target destinations and dates. So you now what you do, you hit that API, you call that API, and you get all the results in a structured format. You don't have to go through extracting information from the crude web page HTML tags. So that's the standardization of APIs that happen. Now there are different APIs. One is to get the flight information. Another is to book a flight or to check the flight status. Whatever they have come up with 5, 10 APIs standard, whatever they are. Anybody can call those APIs and then get the information. The same thing now what is happening right now is instead of course, if you use the tools, they are going to do the same thing, behind the scenes. Now, what is happening is, hey, instead of saying the agent, if you have 100 tools, every time you implement this, call APIs and all of that. Now, the standard way for communication for agents is now adapting the MCP protocol. So using that, what now the same United Airlines will do is they will create an MCP server on their side and expose same those APIs as tools within that MCP server. Now, as an agent, as a web AI agent, now instead of going through these tools and APIs, I will directly connect to that MCP server. So the agent will automatically understand what are all the tools available, what is the input that structure it needs, what is the output that it's giving me, everything, and then start using those tools. So that's how MCP has come, to standardize the communication between this from the world of APIs to the world of agents, right? So to the MCP protocol. So just like HTTP protocol is there for APIs, MCP protocol is there for the agents. So we don't confuse MCP with models or whatever. So models are always agnostic. Any platform you use, anywhere you use, they behave the same. If you use GPT on Azure OpenAI, GPT like I am using here directly from the OpenAI, or GPT on AWS, it will be same. It doesn't change anything. They are all work the same. Okay. I hope you answered that, Girish. And Ganesh, you guys are clear on that?
Yeah.
Oh,
We are going to see MCP separately, right, in future?
yes. Yeah, we have a
Okay.
session separately for MCP. Yes. Okay. So I want to do the same thing, different question. Actually, I don't need to do all of this again.
Oh, one question, right? So, we do have other frameworks. Maybe I missed the first few 20 minutes. I joined late, but other frameworks like LangChain, what else? Like Crew AI, and the Microsoft one, AutoGen. Each frameworks were defined for a specific purpose, right? So, like for instance, AutoGen is conversational, and Crew AI may be role based and other things. So what is the Agno framework fits into? Is it like, does it solve a specific problem use case here, or this is like used for any kind of like a Swiss Army knife?
Yeah, it's see, even if you say Crew AI is role based, okay, and LangChain is conversational or generic AutoGen. See, end of the day, they all give you a framework or a platform to create agents and design your application. They are not going to solve any of the application problems for you. So you have to design that. It's only that how they implement and what capabilities they have are different. How the orchestration happens is different. Okay. So Agno, as I said, it's just a plain simple framework, just like LangChain, built on LangChain, which will give you a easy to use kind of framework, simple and easy to use framework. Just as you can see here, we just create some agents, pass tools, and create team. That's it, done. Simple, navigable format framework that you do, and it also has Pydantic support and all of that. Same thing you do. That's why I'm saying, right? So you can continue using 10 platforms and still do the same thing in all the platforms. The results will only vary based on how they implement. Underlying all that data, all the problem solving is all done by the models itself. The models are the tools. So you can do the same thing in any platform. So that's why I said we don't want to explore so many platforms. We just do one or two platforms. You get what you understand. Now, you say, hey, in my company, when you are evaluating which platform should I use? So that's again, just like, as I said, product evaluation. You can use Crew AI, or you can use Vertex AI, or you can use Langflow, or you can use the what you call AI Foundry. So based on your use case and available resources, if you are already on Azure, if you're already on GCP, enterprise decision, enterprise architecture decision, what frameworks are approved. So based a lot of factors, and your comfort level and security and scalability and all of those come into play. So there's no one short answer that, yes, hey, this framework you can use for this. All the frameworks are capable of doing much more, right? Every platform adapts and imports. If there is a new tool, all the platforms will adapt it on their platform, onto their framework. So I don't see much difference there. But only thing is how you design all of these features. Okay. So if I want to do for Apple, now the same thing. What is this? Recommendation for this, and what are the latest news for Apple on this, right? So this is how the Agno framework does use for any of this agentic. Okay. So next week, we will get into the another framework. As I said, we'll go into Crew AI. It's the role based, as Ganesh was talking about, and see how we design the application, multi-agent application using Crew AI platform. So
Is Agno production ready today? Is Agno production ready?
yes, it is. It's just it's just a Python libraries, all of this, right?
Hmm.
Agno
Okay.
it was earlier, Phi data. Now it is called Agno. It is, I think it should be ready for production. They also have a production deployment also you can do on their own cloud, Agent OS.
So we can basically configure even an agent as a tool along with MCP, even RAG as well be a tool, right? For this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It is the standard architecture. If you see here, right? So this is what we are talking about yesterday also. If you see all of this calculator tool, web search tool we have already used. You see vector search engine. This is your RAG architecture here. So your entire RAG application can be exposed as just a tool for the agent, which is connected to your vector database. Here, what I'm showing is VV8. Any RAG application that you have, the entire RAG application itself can be exposed as a tool to the agent, just like any of this.
Okay.
Okay.
One other question. While talking earlier, you mentioned about Snowflake connectors and something related to agentic. Like I don't know. Can you talk a bit more on like, are you enabling connector more like agent ready, or what is that conversation
No,
about?
it is not. So basically, yeah. So agent ready comes again from the MCP. So that's what Snowflake has recently released their own MCP. It's still not production ready or GA yet, but there are third-party connectors that have been written MCP to connect to the Snowflake. So any RDBMS, any database you connect, you have two ways of doing it. The default original way of doing it is connecting through JDBC, right? So any database, you just need JDBC, connection, URL, authentication, password, and all of that. You connect to the database and execute queries. That standard way is always there. The next level of advancement or an improvement happened when each of these databases provided their own connectors. In the sense, again, they exposed some APIs which you can directly call using the connector. You don't have to write all the code yourself, getting cursor, parsing to that, and all of that stuff was extracted, and then wrappers were written, and they gave you connectors. So now you start using the connectors to connect to any of these databases like standard Oracle or standard MySQL or Snowflake or whatever. Now the third level of improvement now happening for the agent is MCP servers. So the Snowflake, it will by itself create an MCP server on their end and expose some tools on them. Third party, this is a Snowflake managed MCP server, allows AI agents like Claude or Crew AI to securely retrieve and interact with data stored in a Snowflake account using standards-based interface. So this is the Snowflake's its own MCP server that they have created. We can use it and we can give our account details to it, and then we start communicating with it from our agents using the MCP server. Now there is another thing. This was done. There were like third-party, developers who created MCP server. We can use that to connect to the MCP as well. So this is a third-party implementation of the same MCP server. So if you see here, these are the tools that were implemented if you use this server. So read query, write query, create table, list databases, list schemas, list tables. So basically, what are the standard kind of operations that you do? Those are all exposed as tools within this server. So you can implement this and then you can start interacting with your Snowflake database and then use these tools, any of these tools. Or you can use the Snowflake's own that they are coming up or they have released, from their own Snowflake. You can also use that. Now, before all of this, before even implementing MCP, we went to the level 2 one, which is already there is a Python-based connector to connect to Snowflake. So what we did was we wrote a Python function using that connector to connect to database, and we wrote some functions to read data. Basically, ours was a read-only use case. We didn't need to write anything to the database or create tables or anything. So what we did, we created read-only all the functions for executing the SQL and getting data from that, and exposed those Python functions as tools and used it in the Crew AI. Basically, just like we did Python-based add, multiply functions, right, as tools. Same thing we has written and then exposed it as MCP tools in the Crew AI from the platform. So that's how we can do that.
So if let's say I'm asking this because I'm on the data analytics side of the thing. So the MCP that you guys wrote and exposed, would it be running on like any ETL server? Like if the data is huge to process, you typically use something like AWS Glue or EMR. Do you use anything?
MCP server itself does not have, it's not a heavyweight. It's not doing any processing or it's not doing any storing any data on itself. It's just a framework. It exposes the tools, but when you invoke that tool, that's gonna go and run on this in your Snowflake database only, just like your connector. It's just that a shell kind of a thing that is running on the Snowflake account that you have, that is exposing what are the capabilities that are available.
Okay. No, the only question is if the data that it is processing is huge, like big data, right? MCP just exposes an API to retrieve. Can all this run on like an analytics platform is my question. Like an Apache Spark or EMR,
Spark.
I don't know. Are you using Azure or AWS for your projects?
We are on Azure.
Okay.
So we use Azure OpenAI to connect to Snowflake.
Okay.
It's the standard connection. Like we haven't run into those kind of volumes. But agentic AI, the use case itself is not analytics based, right? So you don't expect to process or transform data when you are doing any agentic AI. So that's for the data engineering. That's pre-processing that happens before you get into the AI world. So AI is only expected to get a part of that data or the final summarized data for analysis. More or less, like if you're using for a particular user, customer 360 can be one use case. It has been going on there for decades. It's nothing new, the use case. You want to see all the information of a customer, but how you process that to answer the questions of the customer is different when you use agentic AI versus standard rule-based applications.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else? I think we can wrap up this session. I will upload this notebook and recording, go through it, use it, and go through this documentation. This week, get a hang of agents. Next week, we will get into Crew AI and then some no-code platforms as well, like Langflow or Vertex or Bedrock, to do the agentic AI. And then we wrap up next week the agents. Then we have, as I said, a lot of things that deployment, observability, MCP, evaluation, and all of that will follow. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Have a nice rest of the day and good night. We'll meet next week. If you have any questions, ping me offline, either in the group or directly. We can talk. So I have a question from Prithvi. I need to connect with him. I will do today.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anu.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.